My name is Joey Hutto. I've been in the insurance business 49 years this year. Um, I've done basically everything in the insurance business as I started out, but my focus is on large commercial accounts, whether it be the property and casualty and risk management portion or the benefits. We have an outstanding staff that can support a producer that has those skill sets. And we have certain people that specialize in them. I guess my specialty would be risk management and the commercial lines in property and casualty.
My Christian name is Paul Mize, but I have a nickname, Buzzy, and I have been doing this since 1970. I've been in the insurance business since 1978, and I've been with Ross and Yerger since 1980, so I've got 43 years.
Yeah, Buzzy and I, in 1980, we started Hutto and Company. He came on board right after I started it, and he became a stockholder, and we built Hutto and Company, the largest
What do you think?
insurance brokerage in North Mississippi. And then 10 years later, we sold to Ross and Yerger. It's the only agency they've ever bought, and it's the only one we've ever sold. And then we bought it back in 2002, and now we're an employee. There's several principals help do that, but we're basically an employee-owned agency. The esprit de corps is incredible. We're all on the same page, same heartbeat, and we've got a nice spiritual vein that goes through the entire operation.
I think the most bizarre situation that I ever found myself in was 2014 when the tornado that hit Tupelo hit my house and also hit one of my largest accounts, Joiner School.
Yeah.
So I was in the bizarre position of being both the claimant and the agent at the same time. So at the same time that we were putting my house back together, we were also putting back Joiner together, which, by the way, we were able to get that thing back operating within 8 days. So it was really interesting to see that much inertia, that much power inserted, because I had not had a claim anything like $3.5 million property claim like that was. And then my house at the same time was a big claim, and I really saw from a claimant side what you go through when you have such an experience. So that taught me a lot. I probably learned more there than any other place I've ever been.
Well, plus you had the horror. You had just gone to San Francisco on
Yeah.
an insurance company trip.
Yeah, I was in
And the
California.
tornado hit. You'd been there one day. I lived behind him on the same path,
Yeah,
and his
tornado.
roof was blown off.
Yeah.
So here he is, his first day of his vacation, and he's out there, and somebody had told him the tornado came through here. By the way, your roof has been completely blown off.
Ironically, the insurance company presentation that we attended that morning was about you need to have your own insurance in order, because they had something happen to their home office. I thought, well, that makes sense. And then we went to lunch, started enjoying things, and my phone started blowing up. And finally, my office, the Tupelo office, left me a message. Your house has been hit. You need to come home. We have a room for you at the Hilton. Come on, Joe.
I think I would play myself. I don't need somebody else to act. I can do that on my own.
I can't really imagine insurance sales being a movie, but if I were in a movie, I would have to get Hugh Laurie to play my part, because years ago when I had more hair, people would come up and tell me I looked like that guy in House. And it reached the climax back in 15, 16 years ago when I was in St. Vincent's Hospital the day before my knee replacement. And I was tired and I was frustrated. I hadn't shaved because I was going into surgery. And I got there not knowing they were going to go through all this tests. So they dressed me up in scrubs, and I had a walking stick, and I was walking down the hall, and these three ladies see me. And I thought, oh my God, I know what's about to happen. And they said, we know you. And I said, don't even start. And they said, that's him. And I was walking on that stick. They said, look, he really does limp. I said, forget it. I just walked on down the hall.
I tell you what, the insurance business has told me that relationships are the most important thing in life. And because of that, and because of wanting to take care of your clients, you develop that kind of relationship, and I think Buzzy and I both, our mantra has been to, we're going to take care of our clients. And we don't have to worry about anything else except taking care of them. In a result, they stay clients forever. Um, they provide us an income to raise our family, pay our bills. Um, and it's taught me that relationships, not just with the people who make the decisions, but the influencers, the receptionists, or people who work in the plant. And those are the small things that are enjoyable to pay attention to see what makes a company the company. So I'd have to say that.
Yeah. And also too, I think in the art of happiness in the end game, if you love people and use things, and that's converse of human nature, which is to use people and love things, and then third is to search for divinity. I think that's the key.
You know, Buzzy and I have been together since 1978. I started with IFM at 77, but between us, we've got 100 years of experience in the insurance business.
That's right.
And that's a lot of experience, and we've seen a lot of things. We haven't seen it all, but we've seen a lot. We've seen changes. We've adapted with it. We've laughed together. We've cried together, and we've had a good relationship. But that's odd that it seems like yesterday. We've got close to 100 years experience
Exactly.
between us.
Well, I think that what has changed this industry more than anything else is technology. Because before we had the technology we have today, insurance companies were very regionalized. You had Mississippi, and just people in Mississippi could call on people in Mississippi. Now you have regional where, with all the technology we have, we can print policies, we can do things that we weren't able to do, and now it's very much of a worldwide market that we're in. And that has been the biggest change that I've seen. It used to be we'd go see a company like in Jackson was full, by the way, had several really fine insurance companies in Jackson. Now I think the only one that's left, I think, is Blue Cross Blue Shield. But they had these fine insurance companies, and every company had a regional office there. Aetna had a regional office. USFG had 2 regional offices, one in Meridian, one in Jackson. It was interesting difference back in those days. But Joey would tell you, if you went to see one of these regional offices, they'd always say, now we're going to take you back and show you our big computer. And they'd have some computer that was like a whole floor full of stuff. And now there's nothing any bigger than what you're carrying right there. But I think that has been the biggest thing that changed the industry since we got involved. We had a Rapid Raider. Remember the Rapid Raider? It was a big old 3-ring binder, and you could do anything with it if you knew how to do it. You could rate homeowners, you could rate BOPs, you could rate the store owners.
Well, we could rate S&Ps.
S&Ps.
And you had so many factors that went in an S&P. And the thing about it is, Buzzy and I had to separate ourselves from the others because we're competing against older agents who've got established agencies. So we had to separate ourselves by knowing the contracts and knowing how to price them, knowing how to rate them, and that came in handy.
Yeah,
and it taught us a lot.
Remember, if you could get it on Storekeepers, you were in.
You were in. Top Gun movies and things like that. I think I would have liked to have been an Air Force pilot.
There you go.
Because I had really good eyes, good eye-hand coordination.
Yeah.
And I like to have been a pilot, a jet pilot.
That'd be good. If I were doing something, I'd really like to be a professor in a place like Oxford, England, of medieval Renaissance literature. I'd like to teach.
And Buzzy's a good teacher. He's taught me a lot. He's taught me so much you can't believe it. Well, I'd have to say that about 40 years ago, I went fly fishing out west and did it about 6 or 7 times. I didn't develop any skill set, but I loved it. And I learned how to fish. And so I Googled in 2014 fly fishing in Argentina. And I'll be making my 6th trip down there this April. We had 2-year break because of COVID, and which means I will fish those rivers from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock for 56 days. And 62 days. So, yeah, that's what I like. That's my passion. why Argentina? Once you go down there, once you see the people and experience the thrill of these wild fish that don't have a lot of pressure on them, that's I've really enjoyed doing that.
It might surprise you that I really enjoy gardening, like vegetable gardening. Although always in my vegetable gardens, I always have zinnias and flowers and things like that in there. And while I'm in there, it's very meditative to me to be able to get in there and be quiet and be in the garden. And I listen of late. I've really started listening to a lot of podcasts because I do. I like to read. I like to try to add to my knowledge, and I really enjoy that. Now, one of my hidden talents that you probably don't know anything about is my ability to call cows. Uh, I grew up on a farm, and we had cows. And cows, I learned early on. I was taught that it's much easier to call them up to be fed than it is to go down there and try to round them up. So I can call cows, and I've even called cows. I was in England once, and with family, and we were staying at this manor house, beautiful manor house, and we were playing croquet out there, and it was this real British type environment. And I looked way off in the distance. I saw a herd of cows, and I thought, I wonder if this works in England. So I began to call them, and those things looked up and came rushing through as they cut, not the creek, but the brook.